Long ago, when the world was new, the Inuit people in Northern America lived in darkness. The Inuit people lived in darkness in the morning, afternoon, and night. The Inuit people had never heard of daylight before Crow told them. The Crow used to travel back and forth between the north and the south. The Crow told the Inuit people about sunrise, sunset, and the light brought about by the sun. However, the Inuit people did not believe the Crow when he first told them about daylight. But, the young people were fascinated by the Crow's story of the light that covered the lands in the south. The young people made Crow repeat his tales until they knew them by heart. The young people said, "Imagine how hunting would be so much easier with daylight." And others said, "We would be able to see the polar bears before they attack us." The young people were so fascinated with the Crow's story that they yearned for daylight and pestered the older people to ask the Crow to bring them some light. "Please, Crow, bring us some daylight," said one elder. However, the Crow was reluctant at first. He said, "I am too old, and the daylight is far away. I can no longer go so far." But the Inuit people kept pleading that the Crow eventually agreed to fly south and bring the Inuit people some daylight. It was a long and tiring journey to the south. The Crow flew through the endless dark of the north. Eventually, he spotted a rim of light on the mountains on the horizon. The Crow flew with all its might towards the light. Suddenly, daylight busted upon him with all its glory and brilliance. The endless shades of color and the many shapes and forms surrounding him made the Crow astonished and stare. On arriving, he rested on a tree branch, exhausted from the journey. He spent some time appreciating the warmth of the sun's rays on his body. Above him, the sky was blue, and the clouds were white. The Crow could not get enough of the beautiful scenery. After a while, the Crow remembered his task. He saw that he had stopped in a village beside a river. As he looked around, a beautiful girl came to collect water from the river near the tree where he rested. She dipped a large bucket into the river's waters and then turned to get back to the village. Crow turned himself into a speck of dust and drifted down towards the girl as she passed beneath the tree and rested on the girl's hair. The girl was the daughter of the village chief. The girl returned to the chief's hut, where she was taking water from the river. It was warm and cozy inside the chief's lodge. The Crow looked around him and spotted a box that glowed around the edges and concluded that the box was daylight. On the floor, a little boy who was the chief's grandchild was playing. Being a speck of dust, the Crow drifted away from the girl into the ear of the little boy. The boy felt irritated in his ear and immediately stood up and started to cry. The chief came running to the boy to see what was wrong. "What is it, little one?" the chief asked. The Crow whispered inside the boy's ear, "You want to play with a ball of daylight?" The little boy repeated the Crow's words. The chief sent his daughter to bring the glowing box in the corner. The girl brought the glowing box to the chief, who removed a glowing ball, tied it with a string, and gave it to the little boy. The ball was full of light, shadow, color, and form. The boy laughed happily, watching the ball bounce. Then Crow scratched the inside of the little boy's ear again, and the boy cried. "Don't cry, little one," said the chief anxiously, "tell me what is wrong." Crow whispered inside the boy's ear, "You want to go outside to play?" The boy repeated the Crow's words and was taken outside to play. Once outside, the Crow returned to his normal form, grabbed the ball by the string with his beak, and flew away. In the far north, the Inuit people saw a spark of light coming toward them through the darkness. The spark of light grew brighter and brighter until they saw a Crow flapping his wings as he flew toward them. The Inuit people called, pointed, gasped, and gazed at the sky in amazement. When the Crow was above the people, he dropped the ball, which smashed on the ground, releasing daylight. Darkness disappeared as daylight illuminated every dark place. The sky grew bright and turned blue. The dark mountains took color, light, and form. The snow and ice sparkled brightly. The natural beauty of the world around them overcame the Inuit people. They laughed and rejoiced and praised the Crow. However, the Crow told them, "I've only managed to bring you one ball of daylight. This means that you will only have daylight for 6 months of the year. During the other 6 months, there will be darkness as the ball takes time to regain strength and energy." The Inuit people thanked the Crow profusely and said, "Half a year of daylight is enough. Before we lived our whole life in darkness." To this day, the Inuit people live half a year in darkness and half a year in daylight. Also, the Inuit people are very kind to the Crow, for he brought them daylight. This story teaches people how to better understand the relationship between them and nature. People must know that they cannot escape their life from nature. So, when they get things from nature, they should never forget to feel blessed and reasonably treat nature because nature completes people's life's needs. On the other hand, Nature, as an essential element of the world, exists to fill what human beings need in life. Nature is there to be taken as food for people's hunger, or animals as part of nature are taken for their fur to be used by people for clothes. But nature is not accepted or used only for an object over people's needs. It should be treated wisely. Therefore, it is necessary to know that nature does not allow being mistreated. When people treat nature kindly, it lives with man in total harmony.